Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I've got a proper disaster of a diecast to repair. It's a little Matchbox Alfa Romeo Carabo. This car was given to me by one of my good mates and he actually dug it up in his garden. So who knows how long it's been there. Matchbox produced this car from 1971 all the way until 1986, and the original Alfa Carabo was a concept car built in 1968. Taking a closer look at our example off of the turntable, it is definitely one of the most munted cars I've restored so far. It's got a really heavily corroded body. The wheels look like they've just rusted away. The back louver's broken there. Looks like somebody's given it a go in a repaint before it was buried. The windscreen's still in there and actually looking pretty decent, so that's one thing. Okay, we'll crack on and take it apart. There's only one rivet left, so I'll drill that out. Now I can remove the base. There's a load of dirt in here, so I'll just tip that out. You can see one of the wheels actually in there. Next I take out the interior. This is also full of dirt. Must have been totally submerged in mud to get this much dirt inside it. Now I can pop the windscreen out. It's almost like the dirt has protected it. I guess no UV rays to break it down. And finally I'll just pop this broken louver off of the rear. Next step was to give everything a wash and get rid of the majority of all of that dirt. I notice a lot of restorers seem to like to wash their parts in a small takeaway container full of water. I just do it in the sink. Okay, here they are, all looking a bit cleaner. Next I'm going to take the suspension plate off of the base. Often I just leave these in and mask them off, but I'm going to be doing so much work to this casting. I use some paint stripper to remove the remaining paint from the castings. Here they are after I've washed all the paint off. You can start to see how corroded they are. I give them a really good clean up with the wire brush on my Dremel, and this will get rid of any remaining paint and the oxidation and corrosion. So here they are after the wire brush. You can really see how much pitting and corrosion there is on them. Next I give them a sand to start to remove any raised areas. Give myself a smoother surface to start working with. We can really have a close look at that pitting and corrosion. It's particularly bad around the front of the car and also around the window frames. And also the front end of the base there is really badly corroded. Got a great chunk missing out of it. To fill these up, I'm going to be using some milliput epoxy putty. So I knead it together. Then I use it to fill up all of the pitting and build up the missing areas on the body of the car. So here it is once it had cured. Then I start sanding and filing it back down. And so this is how it looks after the first session of sanding and filing. So obviously you can see it's pretty hard to see exactly where you're up to. So next I'm going to use some thick super glue to filler up the pitting around the window frames. And then I filed this smooth. The super glue ends up a lot stronger than the milliput would for small details like that. So here it is after I've hit it with some grey primer. You can really start to see where there's still flaws on it. It's really difficult to see them when it's metal and filler. So it was sanded back down and then I repeated the filler process. I also filled and built up the base, particularly at the front end there where it was really badly pitted. Again, I file and sand this to shape as best that I can. So I'm pretty happy with how that's come out. It's never going to be completely perfect. So I hit the body with some grey primer. You can still see a little bit of pitting in there. Could repeat the process a couple of more times, but hey, some battle scars. So here I've hit it with some black, and then I hit it with some white aluminium. It's one of the lightest metallics that I have. And then I finished it with a candy magenta, and this is actually pretty close to what the original colour was. Well, the toy car at least. Somewhat ironically, the real car was actually named after a beetle with an iridescent green body. And the real car, if you check it out, was a cool metallic green. So here I've painted the base yellow. Another great choice by Matchbox on the original toy. So here's the little suspension plate. I gave it a good clean up. And I've got a couple of sets of replacement wheels. They're really nice clean ones. And they're exactly the same as the ones that were on the original car. Super fast wheels. Onto the windscreen now. By some miracle, it's in really good condition. It's only the front of it is a bit discoloured, really. There were some tiny scratches on it, so I sanded those out. and then it was given a really good polish with some plastic polish. You just use the type of polish that you'd polish plastic headlights with. You can get it at an auto parts store. And here it is after I've finished polishing. It's looking nice and shiny now. Here's the interior, which came out looking sweet as after a wash. And so that just leaves the rear louvers. Now I don't think there's going to be any salvaging that, so I've managed to get a replacement one. Right, so that's all the hard work done. We'll just take a look at all the parts of our little Alfa Carabo. Refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. So while I'm reassembling that, let's just take a moment to look back and be reminded of what we started with. Dug up out of my good mate's garden, a true diecast disaster. It's heavily corroded castings. The wheels have rusted away. The rear louver smashed in half and totally crammed full of dirt, so you can't even see the interior. Who knows how long it had been buried under the ground. See what we can uncover with a bit of a makeover. And here it is, our finished, restored Matchbox Alfa Romeo Carabo. Looking a whole heap better, if I do say so myself. Definitely one of the worst cars I've ever worked on. It's now back in its original colours. All the dirt's gone, revealing that nice tidy original interior and windscreen. Sporting some fairly mint replacement wheels and louver there. And I've done my best to tidy up that heavily corroded and pitted body. Hey, it's not perfect, but I definitely think it's miles from where we started. So you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Before I go, I'll give a massive shout out to my awesome Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for helping to support the channel. If you'd like to help out as well, check out the link in the description below. Thanks heaps for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you'd like to see similar stuff, remember to check out my channel, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends.